Alright, you guys, welcome back to once again another video on my channel. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing all right. And actually the time, it's almost 6 a.m. and I actually wake up every single day at like around 5:30 to 6 so I can edit my videos and get them uploaded. I'm actually supposed to edit an HF video after this video, but I wanted to make a video for you guys because honestly, like, I apologize for not uploading an ELO series. I know a lot of you guys want one. Like my ELO series part 2 did so well, so at 500 views, almost at 600, pretty amazing. So I want to do something for you guys and release my render settings and my OBS settings. And keep in mind, these aren't fully my OBS and render settings. I actually got them from my friend that told me how to get better settings, but I tweaked it a little bit, so all right, here we go. So first we're gonna go to settings and we're gonna go to output, like first right out the blue. If yours doesn't look like this, then you did it completely wrong. You always need to keep it on advanced, because if you want like different settings for your streaming and your recording, you gotta keep it on advanced. Because if you have like if you record in CBR and you have your bitrate to like 80K, your streaming is not going to handle that. It's gonna be very laggy maybe, and it's just not right for you. So yeah, just remember that. But yeah, so if you guys want to copy streaming, go ahead. Just make sure that this is on low latency quality and your profile is on high. And I'm only doing NVIDIA graphics cards because I don't know anything about X264s. So apologize for anyone that wants me to do X264s. But there's many videos on X264 graphics cards. Coder NVIDIA NVIC H264 new. Remember to use that if you guys don't have it. Rescale output. Remember to check this so your YouTube can detect 1080p videos, rate control, bitrate, everything else, and yeah, it works fine for me. So all right, so this is where like everything starts to change. So type standard shows my recording path, recording format MP4, audio track 1. I use the same encoder, so just use the same encoder that you use for your streaming. Rescale output, I don't have this checked because honestly I use video for rescale, so it doesn't matter. Rate control, CQ level to 21, and it really depends on your frame rate. So if you use like maybe 240 FPS, I put it to 21. If you use 120 FPS, put it to 23. Now I'm using 120 FPS, but it's not in the right CQP level. My CQ level isn't the right one to use when I have it in 120, because really in 120 I'm supposed to keep it at 23, but it's in 21. But if you're using 120 FPS, put it to 23. If you're using 240, put it to 21. If you use 360, put it to like 19. Just go down 2, okay? It's a lot easier, okay? So yeah. All right, so now let's go to video. All right, so obviously since I'm recording, I can't really edit anything, but I can tell you like what I have here. So if my base canvas resolution, I have it as 1280 by 720, and same goes for my output scaled resolution. And for your downscale filter, use bilinear, fastest but blurry of scaling. A lot of people use this when they're making their videos or overclocking their FPS to like 120 or 240. And I recommend using bilinear if you're gonna use 240 frames per second. Now you guys want to know how I get that motion blur effect. Yeah, the way to get that motion blur effect is basically putting your frames, like if you only run 200 FPS in game, I'd recommend putting like your FPS to 60, because 60 FPS is like a good frame rate for you if you run 200. If you run 400 max, like if you can use 400 FPS in Minecraft, I'd put it to 120. If you use like 600, if you get like the highest of 600 FPS in Minecraft, I'd put it to maybe 240, because like I said, it takes a lot of your frames if you put your FPS to like a higher frame rate than 60. If you get like 800, then put it to 360, 1000, 480. If you guys want to test out your frame rate and see how what you get, then go to a practice server and just try it out, and then just like put your FPS to like half of what you get, if you know what I mean. And if you do that, it's gonna look nice. Obviously if you replayed the video, it's not gonna look like it's in motion blur. Yeah, but I'm gonna explain everything about the motion blur later, but let's move on. I use start and stop recording as my FA key because It's easier. I wouldn't use like F8 and then like my mouse scroll wheel to turn off my recording. Like that's not necessary when you could just use the same thing. And yeah, it's just gonna be a lot more confusing if I use like different hotkeys than my original. So yeah. All right, so process priority, normal, everything else you guys can just, you know, copy down. And yeah, I'm not gonna really explain anything. I mean, I can explain the color space. If you want to keep it on 709, you guys can. I heard 709 is a lot better. But I'm using this thing called LUT filter, which basically makes your which fixes the color in your Minecraft or like in your OBS or Sony Vegas. So yeah, that's what I use. So I just keep this on 601 so I can use the LUT filter to basically fix everything. Ooh, okay, that was a lot, but you know, hopefully you guys understand and I can move on now. So yeah, let's go on to Sony Vegas and see where this is going. All right, you guys, so we are in Sony Vegas right now, and I actually have a clip imported. If you guys want to see my, you know, project properties, then you can. Here you go. Everything else you can copy down, like the full resolution rendering quality, which is best, motion blur type box, deinterlace method, none, resample mode, smart resample. Remember to put your video to smart resample if you want to see that motion blur effect. So remember that. If you want to, like, you know, keep it this way, you can also start all new properties or projects with these settings and then press apply and okay. It's gonna be the same when you reopen your Sony Vegas again. All right, so now we are now gonna go to the renders, as a lot of you guys been wondering. So yeah. All right, so let's uncheck favorites only, 8 megabytes per second, 1080 30p video. Yeah, that was WMV. I still remember that, but it looked a lot better if I used MP4. And Measle actually told people if you should use MP4 than WMV, and I told him MP4. It just looks a lot cleaner. Like it feels like the color is fixed in MP4, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so I use Magic's AVC AAC MP4. All right, but yeah, value or variable bit rates, maximum bit rate, put it to 240, and you know all you have to do is just go down here and just put it to 240. And then, you know, everything else like encode mode, NV encoder, use NV encoder, not main concept AVC. That's just better in my opinion. High performance, don't use lossless high performance. Oh my god, I'm in CBR. I'm supposed to use constant QP mode. All right, let's save this. So whatever you use in OBS, use on Sony Vegas, so it's, you know, better like that. Just remember that. You know, if you keep it that way, it's gonna work fine for you. All right, so yeah. So for audio, you don't have to really edit anything for audio. Same goes for this one, and same goes for this one. But if you want to copy this down, then go ahead and, you know, press OK. You know, after you do that, then you can like show favorites only, which only show favorites if you, like, you know, get your settings on point. But you know, all right, but yeah, after you're done, usually it pops up like in the Magic's AVC MP4 templates, and then, like, you know, name it to something different, because you're gonna be confused and not know where it's at. If you don't, then you got to look for it. But remember to, you know, save it by pressing this star right here, which basically like favorites your render settings, and then just press this checkpoint right here, or check mark, and it will show your favorites only. So it doesn't, like, you know, so you don't have to scroll down for it basically. I mean, either way, it's probably gonna like put it on the very top, but and whatever. I like this way better. But, you know, after you're done, here, let me, like, I'm gonna render real quick. Let's just do. But yeah, you can obviously see that there's motion blur in the clip, like even on the preview screen, because I'm using best. If you use like anywhere between best and good, you can see that motion blur effect because he put it to smart resample. Smart resample basically gives you that motion blur. If you disable your sample, it's not going to show anything. It's gonna look like it's a 60 FPS video, because, you know, 60 FPS doesn't look any like right. But yeah, you can see that there's like a little bit of motion blur if you start PvPing. And, you know, when I started PvPing him, it looked a lot cleaner. But, you know, since my FPS wasn't really like the fully like 240 as you guys thought it would be, it kind of looked a little bit choppy and laggy. it doesn't really look like 240, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, I was playing HCF, and you guys already know, like, HCF makes your videos and your FPS laggy. It like drops a lot of your frames when you're playing HCF. So yeah, but it still works for me. All right, you guys, so I finished on time to edit my video still. Right now it is almost 6:20, as you can see right here, 6:19 a.m. So it took me like 20-30 minutes to get this video done, but you know, it's fine, it's whatever. Like I said, I'm sorry to anyone that was using 264x, because I don't know anything about that. So if you want to know like how to, you know, I guess get like better settings with 264x, I assume you don't have an NVIDIA graphics card, so the settings that I run, I don't think you guys can handle that anyway. So what I can tell you is just go watch a video and you'll be fine, and everything's gonna be okay. So yeah. Alright guys, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, that's all I have to say. Take care.